Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name's John Fahey. Joining me as ever, consummate pretty boy, good-looking son of a bitch, Aaron Joseph Pita.
Hi, that's me. Aaron Joseph Pita is me. I am Aaron Joseph Pita.
I am the Marquise.
I am the Marquise, Daysod, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you look great.
I'm wearing
real
glasses
good.
today.
Wow, yeah.
These are my junk glasses
Yeah,
because I can't find my good ones.
but those are real cool.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I needed to hear that.
So is this Clark Kent you, or is the other one Clark Kent?
You know, the mask is really, Aaron is really the mask.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The glasses are just a facade. I do need them. I was having some eye issues. Which
Yeah.
We'll play into a Patreon later.
All right.
Oh, great.
That's right. But these are real glasses. I am imperfect.
Right.
Sorry. I'm
Yes.
sorry that I need glasses.
No, you don't have to apologize.
No, that's quite all right.
I know that I've got a brand.
No. I mean,
Your human perfection, the pinnacle of
Yeah,
perversion.
yeah.
et cetera,
Right. On and on.
But sometimes
Forever and ever, amen.
even I need to see a little bit.
Yeah, well.
the better to see you with.
Yeah.
And I'm the wolf.
Yeah, I mean, Superman died.
Well, even Achilles had a heel.
he had two heels,
That's exactly
actually.
right.
That's very good. That's
Where
good.
mother
Yeah,
held him when she
fucking-
dipped him into the with a stick.
Yeah,
That's
on his
right.
nasty ass cankle, man.
Yeah, she didn't flip him over. I don't know.
I don't know.
He was-
People with the Greek.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah.
What degree? And also joining us
Oh,
is
hi.
Matt Brousseau.
Oh,
That's
hi.
right.
And
Yes.
Matt Brousseau has a voice of silk.
Oh, don't give in, John.
No.
It's sateen.
People give me shit about not bringing up Matt's...
a velveteen voice.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very nice.
His Velveeta voice.
Ooh,
Like the rabbits
cheesy.
of literature.
Yeah.
Velveteen.
Now, Matt, I want to dive right into it. You have a special profile for the Patreon subscribers today. Isn't that about
Oh,
right?
yeah. But it's actually for everybody.
Oh, is it for the whole gang?
Yeah, this is for next week.
This is a straight up profile.
Oh, dude, I thought, okay, my bad. Shit.
No.
All right. Yeah, let's...
Lucky you.
Well,
world.
lucky you, free listener, freeloader.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Fucking cheapskate.
You guys keep filling time. I gotta...
Yeah. Well,
Well, don't stop because I said fill time.
No, I'll fill some time.
Nick.
How about some racial epithets? Yeah.
Nick is here.
Nick is
shooting
here. Nick Shapiro is shooting us.
for some extra footage.
Whoa.
Shout out to Nick Shapiro. Nick, you sent me a voicemail the other day. You had a friend who was randomly listening to podcasts, and she was recommended, hey, if you like this, you'll like this show.
Profiles in Eccentricity.
Profiles in Eccentricity.
Show about weirdos.
Show about weirdos. Knowing nothing about it, its connection through us and Nick, nothing about it. She hears it. It is the episode of Julie Debonnier.
Mm-hmm.
And in that episode, I give a shout out to Nick.
Mm-hmm. Full name.
Full name, Nick Shapiro, friend, roommate, fan of the show,
Right.
lover.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's very random because it's not as if we talk about Nick every episode.
No, every other.
Yeah.
At most.
Yeah.
And
Too much.
Yeah. Not enough.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of Nick, but hey, I'll take it. So she hears it. She calls Nick and goes, Nick, I heard your name shouted out on this random ass podcast. Talk about piss a lot. You're famous. I love you. Sleep with me. Whatever.
Wow.
And she didn't say
Wow, that's a lot of
Wow.
stuff.
She did not say that. I forget.
Nick, I'm driving down the road. You won't believe what just fucking happened. These perverts are screaming your name.
And they're talking about piss. What
I
kind of
love
people are you
it.
hanging out with? I knew you. So that was a funny little.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
That's
the
really
word is
great.
spreading.
The word is spreading.
Isn't
It's
that
very,
great?
very nice.
So thank you, Nick, for sharing that. Because
Yes.
everyone knows my ego needs it.
Right. Yes.
And
if
thank
you're
you for everyone who listens.
everyone who listens and everyone who subscribes to the Patreon. I mean, I thought we were doing two Patreons. That's why I was fucked up. But this is an example of the kind of thing we would do on the Patreon anyway.
I think I
It
got
is.
some disgusting shit
Isn't
for the
that
Patreon,
right? I
but
love it.
this is just so I enjoyed this one so much I had to bring it to you.
All
No,
right.
this is from one of our first recommendations from a man named Tom Gallen. Maybe not a man.
Tom Gallen,
Who knows?
Tom Gallen.
longtime friend of the show,
Mhm.
Is that right?
subscriber.
I
Thank you,
knew him
Tom.
back when he was just pint size.
Yeah.
Hey, yikes. So this is a story of an Australian gangster named Mark Brandon Chopper Reid.
Chopper?
Chopper
From the movie?
the movie Chopper. You've seen it?
Of course.
Jeez.
It's amazing.
I've heard of the movie Chopper.
Okay. Well,
Was
John,
You've seen
Was
it.
Idris Elba in Chopper?
Eric Bana.
Yeah, that one. Same guy.
Same idea.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's absolutely amazing.
I've always said Eric Bana was the white Idris Elba.
you have said that.
You have
You've
said
always
that. Yeah,
Always.
yeah. It was never very popular.
No, but
It's a terrible idea.
well, agree to disagree.
Well, I'm going to go into a little further depth in the movie, but, you know.
Hey, please.
Okay.
Please, yeah. Like, tell me, because it's actually been a very long time since I've seen the movie, but he is, I mean, quintessential eccentric. I mean, there's really nothing crazier than this guy. It's the, well, I'm going to let you
Let's
tell
hear
it.
it from
Okay.
Matt.
Well, I'm going to start off with a quote from his first book that he wrote while in prison, and it's, quote, Don't ask for mercy from a man who has been shown no mercy.
Very Panzram-esque.
Oh, very much so.
Yes, but a bit misplaced for the character. Well, you'll see.
Okay. He was born in November 17th, 1954, Carlton, Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne.
Yes.
Cortland, Melbourne.
Cartland's a neighborhood in Melbourne.
Has about that there then.
His father was a World War II veteran. His grandparents, one of them was a World War I veteran. His dad said he shot prisoners, Japanese prisoners during the war.
Jesus.
Oh, Christ.
His mother was a strict Seventh-day Adventist. The Seventh-day Adventists were the largest group to form from the failed Millerite religious group formed in 1840 in upstate New York.
Now, did you say...
Did you say Miller Wright? Miller Wright?
That's a Tecate.
Sakate. Shit,
Thank you, Nick.
What kind of
Man, we
weird
really
alternate
fucked
universe?
up bad.
What universe are we in?
Good God Almighty.
What timeline did we jump into?
Now, so the Seventh-day Adventists were formed from the Millerites, one of those religious groups that came out of the burned-out districts in New York, right? Tied it back in. They were the largest group. They split off after the Great Disappointment of October 22nd, 1844, the day Miller was certain Jesus would come back.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Certain.
Big disappointment.
He did all the math.
Yeah.
He worked backwards from the Bible, right?
Yeah. Known for its math.
Yeah. Y'all ready for the 24th? It's going to be so sick.
Yo, ready for this?
Yeah.
Per capita, Australia has the same amount of believers as the United States.
In
Seventh-day Adventists.
yes.
Yeah. So
Now, there's
actually,
a
it
big
started here, but it spread over.
Yeah, it's an American religion. You know,
yeah, and it's worldwide now.
Yeah, it's I think the largest population of Seventh-day Adventists is in Yorba Linda, California.
Wow.
They are strict vegetarians. I think,
Yes,
I
yes. They
believe.
tend to live 4 years longer than the average
Yes.
Californian.
Is that right?
Because they don't drink, they don't smoke,
Yep.
and they have a heavy bean and vegetable diet.
And a strong sense of community.
All right.
Well, so his mom was kind of really into it.
Bit of a nut.
Now, so he was born in 54, and he spent the first couple years of his life in a children's home before he even lived with his parents. By the time he moved in with them, in effect, he had a sister. They never got along. She would follow her mother. They would bounce between various suburbs in Melbourne, and his dad, much later, but it's something you know about him, he would sleep with a loaded rifle next to him. And he was an ultra-right bigot. Meanwhile, his mother made Mark and his sister attend church every Saturday, Saturday being the Adventist day, seventh day.
The true Sabbath.
Yeah, and his Mark said he was brainwashed, and he said in the family, his phrase of the family was, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition.
Ah.
Nice.
All right.
And he had a rough childhood. His mother was strict. His father would beat him almost every day on orders from his mother.
Kick the fuck out of him.
And when he would go to church, and pray, he would pray that God would kill his mother.
Wow.
Scumbag never showed up.
Yeah.
That's why I stopped believing.
There is no God.
So his father would beat him almost every day until he was 15, and he fought back.
Hell yeah.
Also, his father and mother divorced around then.
So I can't help but interject here because
Please.
all this talk about, and this is
I know you love corporal punishment. Come on.
all this talk about, you've got the religiosity. You've got the son who is at odds with his father and mother, wishing somebody that would come and kill his mother. I'm using this only to let the audience know that on the next Patreon, I'm talking about the Terminator
Yes.
franchise,
Yeah.
and I just couldn't help but see the parallels.
Right.
Maybe I'm forcing.
You're seeing them everywhere
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I can't help
I don't understand it
Oh,
either.
you'll get it when you listen to the Patreon.
Well, I hope so.
He said, Chopper said, as a cook, my mom would have made a great steam cleaner. And he said everywhere he went, he felt he was steamed. His mom was a terrible cook. She would just steam everything until it was dead.
Yikes.
So
Jesus
not fun
Christ.
at home, not fun at school either. According to himself, he would get beaten up every day in school, 5 days a week. He would get bullied and beaten up. But he did get the nickname Chopper in school.
How?
In third grade, his classmates gave it to him because of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon Yacky Doodle. And Yacky's this little duck, the tiny little duck, right? You remember?
Oh, Yacky Doodle, I do not remember. I do know.
He's an adorable little duck, scratchy voice, always gets into trouble. And his sidekick,
I've done it again. His mom makes dad beat the shit out of him.
and his sidekick is this a big dog named Chopper.
Oh.
And so Mark would come to school with this kid everybody called Yacky, so then he became Chopper.
Uh-huh.
And to the point where his dad would call him Chop Chop, and everywhere they went, he'd be like, "Come on, Chop Chop." Chop Chop. Chop it
Yeah,
up.
you know about my dad give me the chop
and
chop
John-
all the time. He'd be like, my dad would say chop chop all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's a chop chop on the hop hop. And the story I tell Aaron all the time is that my dad was like, John, when we're working in the kitchen at my dad's restaurant, he's like, John, I need you to take this pot. He's like, I need you to fill it with sliced potatoes, right? You got to peel it, slice the potatoes, fill it up with sliced potatoes, put cold water on it, and then put it on the fire. And I go, okay. And he goes, and John? And I go, yeah, Dad. And he goes, it's going to be a chop chop.
Which means now.
Yeah, it was really demeaning and
hate to break it to
insulting.
you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a chop chop.
This is
Nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
not a waiter.
Very sorry.
This isn't a wait. So he was,
Slice the potatoes, but chop chop.
Chop Chop.
Chop chop.
So he was bullied at school 5 days a week, and he said by the time he was a teenager, he lost several hundred fights.
I feel like a fight implies that there's two parties here.
Well, I mean, he would fight back. He just kept getting his ass
He just was
kicked.
really bad at it.
And he, in his book,
Kept fighting.
in his first book, he writes that he learned to hate bullies, and he writes, "Most of the truly violent men I've known in my life have been the victims of school bullies and violence in the home."
Yeah,
And
he's right about that.
He said he once got kicked in the head so much that his parents didn't recognize him when he got home.
Oh, God.
Get out of here, you piece of shit.
It
Who
was
the
this
fuck are you?
blood-covered kid. Yeah.
My kid's not all swollen and bleeding.
Yeah.
You must have the wrong house.
I didn't do that to him.
My husband doesn't beat my son like that.
Yeah.
He from the age 10 to 15, he ran away from home 6 times. Once he ran away just to see the Beatles, but he took the wrong train and got lost.
Caught a beating.
Yeah. He was gonna get one anyway. So another time he ran away to.
Beatles kicked his ass.
That's how they got their name. That's why they spell it that way.
Yeah.
Mhm. Another time he ran away to go shake hands with LBJ, who was touring in the area.
Whoa.
And he once got kissed by Dame Edna Everage, Australia's first famous drag queen.
Oh, nice.
Hell yeah.
At 15, though his parents got divorced, he never really saw his mom much after that. His mom and his sister moved away, and forever the rest of his life, his sister would write him letters telling him he was going to hell.
Aww.
Yeah, they were close.
Thinking of you.
But he would stay with his dad, and after the divorce, his dad would sleep with a pump-action shotgun in his bed.
Ew.
And then Chopper convinced him to put it under his bed.
Give us and put it in his mouth.
Yeah. But he noted, he said, anytime in the middle of the night Chopper went up to get a piss, he would have to yell, "Go into the toilet, Dad," so his dad wouldn't shoot him.
Oh, my God. And his dad was a WW2 vet.
Veteran who had lots of
Executed.
Shocked,
damage,
I'm
shot-
sure.
Yeah.
The Japanese. Could have just slapped him.
Here's a story from his first book about his dad. He said once his dad thought the neighbors were mistreating their dog. Like he'd look over the fence, and the dog kept getting skinnier and skinnier. So,
Oh, no.
so his dad went over and threatened the neighbors. He threatened the neighbors.
That ain't right.
Feed that fucking dog!
He threatened the neighbors with a beating, and then when nothing changed, he hopped the fence, he stole the dog, and drowned it to put it out of his misery.
Holy fuck!
And then
Feed this dog or I'm going to kill it. I so help me God.
And then Chopper writes, "It was the first time my dad had seen a greyhound. So it actually
he-
wasn't starving, it was a greyhound."
Oh my God. He just
What a fucking idiot.
Yeah, there's been a misunderstanding. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's.
This dog's skinny.
Yes. That rules.
That is so fucked up.
Yeah.
You love it, of course.
Of course I love
I'm a
it.
friend to animals, okay?
What? I don't love that the dog died. I love that that guy was real dumb.
At 15, when he ran away, when he left the church and the divorce, his mother thought he was possessed by Satan, and he would go into these wards, and then he was certified insane and briefly made a ward of the state, and he bounced between various mental and correctional facilities. Oof. And once in one of these facilities, he was assigned bathroom cleaning duty, and he probably had OCD. He would scrub the bathroom until it sparkled. And then one of his friends, this older Italian man who was in there, killed himself in the bathroom.
Oh, God.
And, not thinking twice about it, Chopper then cleaned the man's brains, bowels, and guts out of the bathroom until it was clean again. And the doctors thought it proved he was crazy, and they started electroshock treatments on him. And so he received 60 electroshock treatments in 6 months
For doing his job?
At higher and higher voltages.
Also, did this guy explode in the bathroom? Brains and guts?
Well, I don't know if the guts, but his brains and bowels.
Sure. Yeah.
Human detritus.
Yeah.
Yes. So they 60 shock treatments of higher and higher levels over 6 months. When that didn't work, they also tried deep sleep therapy.
Now, what's that?
Well, this is from the Royal Australian and New Zealand College of Psychiatrists. Psychiatrists. And this is their summary of deep sleep therapy. Mm-hmm. Deep sleep therapy has no place in the treatment of psychiatric illness.
Got it.
It has not been demonstrated to be an effective treatment for any psychiatric condition and has unacceptably high morbidity and mortality rates.
Yeah. It's for abusive nurses. They're like, when this motherfucker's not crazy? When we knock him the fuck out.
I think Michael Jackson was a big fan of deep sleep therapy.
For who? For him? Or the...
Yeah, can I have some more milk, please?
Yeah.
I like to sleep.
Yeah. Have some more embalming fluid and shit.
That's Mike Tyson.
What?
So what happens in deep sleep therapy? The doctor gives you a shit ton of barbiturates, and you basically go into a coma for like 10 days.
Jesus.
And they say, well,
sign me up.
They say, well, your brain will solve all your problems if you're out.
It's like time travel.
Yeah, and a lot of people died.
Interesting theory.
Yes.
Hey,
let's be real.
You know what I like about that? I like the try it out aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, like in Flatliners where you got to go to the tree where that guy molested you.
Yeah, and your dad's there shooting heroin in the bathroom. And then you get out and he's still there.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Kiefer's at the bar. What?
Over the course of 17 years in the Chelmsford Private Hospital in Sydney, at least 24 people died, and the hospital was forced to close.
Good Christ almighty.
He's not dead. He's still working it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that brain that's not working there.
He's still trying to figure it out.
God almighty.
Chopper said it took him about 10 years to shake off all of these treatments.
Jesus.
So he's still 15. He gets out of the mental institutions. He runs away and starts working in the cane field. And it's there while he's working in the cane field for a few months. He finds a snake, and he wraps it around his neck, and he uses it to scare all of like the other workers who are like, some of them are Aborigines or various. Chopper says I am racist in his book.
Yes,
everybody he knows is racist. He says, I am racist. Here are these Aborigines, and he's trying to threaten them with a snake. And
Right.
So eventually, then he leaves after a few months. He goes back home to Melbourne, and
with the snake.
He takes the snake with him, and he trades it for 2 more snakes.
Hey, that's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For a carpet snake and a python. And he says, this is from his book, boy, did I have fun with them. I would push the face of the carpet snake into the faces of my enemies while my friends Dave the Jew and Cowboy Harris held them. You could pick my enemies around Prahan, as a fair few of them had badly swollen and festering faces from the bite of the carpet snake.
Wow.
This is like Jake the Snake. There's a wrestling drama here.
Yeah, but Jake the Snake's never bit anybody's face.
And didn't run around with Bob the Jew. What was his name?
Dave the Jew.
Dave the Jew and
Cowboy Harris.
Cowboy Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty cool crew.
At 16, he starts entering bare knuckle brawls for some quick cash.
He's used to the beatings.
1974, he's 17 now. He applies to join the army, but he fails the personality test. They said he had a personality inclined towards violence, and they wouldn't let him in the army.
That's no place.
No.
No place for violent mindsets.
We have to teach you violence.
Absolutely
You're not allowed to know it.
Yeah.
We don't take any violent prodigies.
Yeah.
We wipe you clean, build you from the
Right.
ground up.
Right. Into our violent guy.
That's right. So instead of joining the army, he's not allowed in. Also he said he had flat feet. So instead of joining the army, he forms and leads the Surry Road gang for the next 3 years. This is from his LinkedIn profile, and he says,
Shut up.
Excuse me.
I swear to God. Surry Road gang, leader, 1971-1974. Description, thought leader in robbery, kidnapping, and torture.
This is in his
LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
And it was robbery. I'm sorry, killing?
Thought leader in robbery,
Thought leader.
in robbery,
makes a lot of
kidnapping, and torture.
And that's THOT. Thought leader in torture, robbery, killing.
He was
kidnapping.
really the
Kidnapping. No
visionary.
killing.
Okay, torture, robbery, kidnapping. Got
Yes.
it.
It was more the heart. And
He was the
brain.
he was the
Yeah.
leader. He formed the group, you know.
Yeah,
But also, he did a lot of the planning.
Good leaders delegate.
Mm-hmm.
that's absolutely right.
And
very good.
so he formed the group with some local toughs. Of course, one of them was Dave the Jew, and Cowboy Johnny Harris. And they also included Terry the Tank. Terry was a big man. He said he could fight with the strength of 10 men,
Oh.
or one Terry, I suppose. Their headquarters was the local boys club, the Tri Boys Youth Club.
Try?
Tri-
Like TRI.
No,
Yeah,
DIY actually.
like 3 of them
Yeah.
little
Oh,
motherfuckers.
Try boys.
Try boys.
And there
Adam,
they would stash weapons there and in various bars throughout the city.
I got an axe over at Hurley's.
Well, he said something he learned from, I think it was movies or something. He'd stash it like by the toilet, you know? Like maybe Godfather. I don't know. I don't think it was out then, but.
Right.
And the weapons they used included iron bars, knives, sawed-off shotguns, .22 caliber rifles, World War I issue army bayonets, tomahawks, meat cleavers, plus his 2 snakes, which he named Ronnie and Reggie after the Cray brothers and Tories.
Cray brothers,
the
very
notorious
good.
pair of Australian
yeah, worthy of a
gangsters.
profile themselves, of course. Yeah.
And they also had a high-powered cattle rod they stole. And he said, one blast with the cattle rod in the lower guts and their bowels dropped out. Shit everywhere.
God Almighty.
Like an electric cattle prod?
Yeah.
Got it. Not the brain rod from fucking...
No.
This is an electric cattle prod. So strong that it would make you shit yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonder.
To get them moving, to get the cattle moving.
Oh, yeah, you know.
You know?
Yeah.
Not the gun they talk about in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right, slide
That gun's no good. The sledge.
Right.
That's what's up.
Right. Now, what were your thoughts on Leatherface?
I don't remember. What was I saying? Oh, he doesn't have a skin condition. He's just a burly retard. Is that what
I don't think you said burly. I think you just said retard. More on that in Patreon.
Well, yeah, I'll do a John Explains
Yeah.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Very good.
Now,
very good.
the Surry Road gang, they had rules. You know, he ran a type ship, Chopper did.
One.
Yeah.
You get a LinkedIn profile.
Well, yeah.
Hello.
Well,
Yeah.
he did that at the time, but.
Yeah.
Got online presence.
Gotta have a social security number. You're in the Tri Boys Club. Come on.
So he ran a type shit. They had rules. One day, Dave the Jew was bitten by his snakes, and so he
Jesus.
killed the snakes with a meat cleaver. And
Fair.
so Dave was sentenced to punishment, and the punishment was 2 options. Either you could be shot in both legs with a .22.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, so Dave was bit, and then Dave killed
And
the
then
snake.
oh, got it.
It wasn't
got it.
that Chopper killed the snake.
That's
No,
what I
Dave was
thought.
bit, so Dave killed the snakes.
Got it.
without
Got
permission.
it.
Without
from
asking Chopper.
Now that's a
And,
crime.
And now
Yeah.
he's got to get shot in the legs.
Well, he has 2 choices.
Fair's fair.
His choices would either take a .22 shot in both legs, or
Both.
in both legs. And you do a .22 because
snakes.
it's not like a .22 is a small round,
Sure.
so you can fish it out, send him to the hospital. You don't. It's not. You know.
Well,
Yeah.
and the symbolism: two snakes, 2 legs, guys.
Stop.
Yeah, I know. Really, come on, dude.
It's all connected.
Yeah, it
You're going
is.
back in time right now.
We're through the looking glass here, people.
So either shot in both legs, or the other punishment was to eat a full packet of lit cigarettes, and then.
Never mind what I said about symbolism, dude. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to do like a full Krusty the Clown
Yeah.
type.
So you have to eat a pack, a full pack.
All of them are lit.
So one by one, you light it, then you eat it, and then you have to finish them all off with a bottle of Ouzo.
Okay,
and
give me the
Ouzo.
bullets. Give me the bullets in a hurry.
And then you take a quote-unquote sound beating.
Dude, shoot me with the 22.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 2 and done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Night.
So for this one, Dave the Jew, he decided, well, I'll do the cigarettes and Ouzo.
Oh, no.
Oh,
And so
God.
then Chopper says, we broke up his face well. In fact, he lost his front teeth. All was forgiven.
Oh, God.
But,
And you gotta drink the Ouzo.
yeah.
Ooh.
One time, Terry the Tank, Terry the Tank actually ran away from his punishment, so they had to jump him one day.
Thank
Terry.
But Cowboy Johnny, he took the shot in both legs, and then they fished him out, brought him to the hospital. And that was it.
Yeah, that was
See?
that.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Quit
And I
your
got all
whining.
my teeth and everything.
Yeah.
didn't have
And
to-
I'm still a cowboy.
Now, they were also very successful fighters, but according to him, they were undefeated. But we'll get to that in a second. They were also quite feared because they were such a small group that he was a big fan of the IRA, and he had studied up on their tactics. And so one of the things they would do, like the IRA, is they would ambush folks when just as they're exiting their house. So you go to where someone is, and when they exit their place of residence,
Yeah.
that's when you get them. Because you're not...
Yeah. They're all full of breakfast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Just get an ass whipping going to the mailbox.
Heavy,
Yeah, you got-
heavy Irish breakfast.
He was a thought leader.
Yeah.
One time they caught a rival leaving his mother's funeral, so they beat him there.
Yes.
Condolences.
Yeah.
Fucking
How's your mother? Just kidding, mate.
One time they broke an enemy's brother's legs, and then waited in the hospital for the enemy to show up, and then they beat him in the waiting.
You know where he's
Yeah,
gonna be.
Exactly. They would. One of the big thing they did was they would rob drug dealers because they're not going to go to the cops, and they always have cash on them.
Yeah, like Omar.
It's not cool, man.
I robs drug dealers.
And so
And
one of
I'm gay.
2.
Try boys. I did.
I'm flush with cash
And
and dude ass. What? He doesn't talk like that.
No.
so
You
here, here's one of the examples. They're a very smart crew, and Dave the Jew was an adept
Money counter.
machine.
Dude, how great is it that Dave the Jew just still hangs tough with this crew after he's got no fucking teeth?
Oh well,
And he's a founding
a
member,
belly
too.
full of cigarettes and Ouzo and teeth.
always forgiven.
God, yeah.
He played his
All right, so he's adept at what? I'm sorry.
So they were really good, at robbing drug dealers.
Yeah.
And so one of the stories, for example, one day they were waiting for there's a man named Sweeney who would bring smack into Melbourne, and so what they want, this guy was always going in and out. They couldn't catch him. So what Dave slept under the man's mother's house for 3 days. So when
Like
the
Dave
guy,
Snow.
when the guy came into town, and like the 3rd day, he went to his mother's house and he was wasted. And so Dave came out of the house, hit him in the back with an iron bar, and Chopper says you don't hit a drunk man in the head with a bar,
Sure.
because that doesn't knock him down. You cause a problem. If you hit him right in the back, that knocks him right out.
Huh.
So then
That's you learn that type of detail from experience.
Yeah. That's some real fucking shithead logic. You
So
know, the
is
thing is about kicking the shit out of a drunk dude is you got to attack his back.
Yeah, this isn't the first time.
My back is broken.
What do you
What do you mean?
mean?
I broke my back.
Like a vertebrae or something?
Spinal.
Spinal.
so good. It's a great interview.
Couldn't handle it.
So that was really smart. The rest of it is not so much. So they couldn't wake the guy. They bring him to a basement of this the hotel, and they can't wake him up.
Uh-oh.
So Chopper
Deep
says
sleep therapy.
Chopper brings Chopper brings out. He called himself Dr. Chopper. He brought out his bag and
Dr. Chopper.
He takes out a blowtorch and starts burning the guy's feet.
I got something that'll wake him up.
Because usually that wakes people up.
Yeah.
Guy still
I
doesn't.
don't know. It's always works on my daughter.
Guy still doesn't wake up, and now the smell.
Flat-footed, no military.
Yeah, the smell of burnt flesh seeps into the bar to the point where the wife of the owner of the bar burst into the basement and goes, "What the hell's going on down here?" And Dave the Jew's like, "Anybody who sees, I'll kill them all." And Chopper has to calm him down.
Anybody who sees?
Yeah.
What an insane thing to say.
And so the husband, he calmed her down. He got everybody out there. They eventually they were like, "This is too much of a hassle." The bar owner brings the guy back to his ship. They throw him on the boat. The guy goes back. When Chopper wrote the book in '91, he said the guy's still alive today. they would. Another story from Dave the Jew is one time Dave was trying to kill this guy, and so he was aiming at this guy while straddling a railing, and he was like, there's a railing and there's like a street next to it, and he's aiming at this guy on one side of the railing, and he's straddling it, and he shoots, and as he shoots, he falls off the railing. Misses the guy, falls 2 stories to the ground, lays there screaming with a broken arm. The guy he was going to shoot runs out and goes, "Are you all right, man?"
Yeah.
But the gun had fallen on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
So they help him up, and he gets out of it.
Hey, you're not so bad, friend.
Man, my motives were
Turn around real quick.
My motives were completely misconstrued, man. I really
Caused me to question everything I've ever done. I've eaten packs of cigarettes. my own 2 front teeth.
Man, I fucking
bottles of Ouzo.
I just housed a whole pack of lit Marlboros, man.
And here I am with you, my once and future foe.
And now you're carrying me to safety.
My whole world has been turned upside down.
It's really quite a predicament.
Wow, the world works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, things work out like that.
Anyways, turn around, because I'm going to hit you with this lead pipe.
You probably drunk as fuck, man.
Mike Tyson as Dave the Jew. Australian.
Yes. Turn around so I knock your dumb ass out, man.
Spinal. Sorry.
Oh, I don't mind.
You can't help it. It's still happening from Malala. How about that?
Yeah. Well, at least it's not happening every day in my head.
It is.
5 feet away.
It's not so much of a furious fashion.
It's not.
It's a much more manageable fashion.
Yeah. You waiting for the bathroom meeting there, and they're like, "Yeah, man, I got pissed like a motherfucker, man. It's some real shit."
So now they were undefeated, according to Chopper.
So was that guy. He was undefeated.
But
with the full blowtorch.
This is the story. He says they're undefeated, but during a fight, Chopper says they never lost a fight, but they did lose Cowboy Johnny one night.
Oh, no.
They're in Richmond, and Chopper was getting kicked to death by some local toughs.
What?
Yeah. He was getting kicked to death, and he said, "One more kick, and I was done."
Jesus Christ!
And so Johnny jumps in with one of the bayonets, and he fights the other guys off.
With a bayonet?
Will you wait till the last kick?
Well, maybe he didn't, maybe his just got there. Well, because Dave the Jew's not there yet. Johnny
He's
just
making
gets there.
friends with the enemy.
Right. Cowboy Johnny gets there with the bayonet, fends these guys off.
Where's he getting a bayonet from?
That was stored.
One of the world
stored in O'Hallahan's or whatever.
I think it was like Johnny's one of their grandfathers.
World War I.
World War I. Right.
Right. You didn't count on a cowboy with a bayonet, did ya?
Right. A bayonet's pretty good in a street fight. It's better than a knife.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so Johnny jumps in. Cowboy Johnny jumps in, fights off all the attackers. But as he fights them off, he takes a broken bottle to the neck. And he bleeds out and dies in Chopper's arms.
Jesus.
Dave the Jew shows up right as he's dying. And
great timing.
Hey, what'd I miss?
And so they take his body and they get him cremated. And
with a blowtorch?
Well, he in the book he says, "How is our business?"
Definitely with a blowtorch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they took him to some cremation thing and beat the guy up until he did it.
Yeah, burn our friend.
And then they got good and drunk, and they had his ashes, and they took him to this Prahan, P-R-A-H-N, P-R-A-H-A-N, Prahan, swimming pool and baths. They broke into the area, and standing by the side of the pool, they blasted a cassette of Johnny's favorite song. From Don Gibson.
Classic Don Gibson.
Yeah. Standing by the pool.
Why are they by a pool?
Well, in the pool, they take the ashes. Chopper dumps them into the pool.
You always want to be buried at sea?
And Dave the Jew fires 21 shots in the air.
They got rules.
Is it an indoor pool?
No, it's
The glass is shattering.
Bum, 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 bum.
It's their own personal sea of heartbreak. Isn't
Right.
that
Except
right?
it's not a sea.
It's more of a pool.
contained.
Pool's good for you.
But as Chopper writes in his first book, he writes, anytime you're swimming there, think of Cowboy Johnny for me.
Well, now, of course.
Yeah.
Gross.
But then, over the next few years, each of the men who killed Cowboy Johnny would slowly disappear
Is that right?
as Dave the Jew slunk around in the shadows, and it was called the quote-unquote Richmond kicking matter. Dave the Jew took care of it.
Huh.
No one knows what happened to these guys, but each of them disappeared one by one.
Wow.
I think Dave the Jew got him.
I think you put it together.
Huh. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah,
Seems like,
I think he did.
yeah.
I think that whole making friends with your enemies thing was a ruse.
The plot.
Yeah. So those guys are dead.
Oh, yeah. Oh, also for that song, stay tuned for the next jukebox.
Ooh.
We'll touch on that. So, Cowboy Johnny is dead, but still the gang goes on. And over the next few years, they start robbing massage parlors because massage parlors are full of weed and heroin and cash.
Is that
And
right?
if you go
And
in,
billionaires.
if you go in, yeah, that video's coming out. Kraft.
Ooh.
Oh, I
Go
can't wait
in,
to see his dick get jerked
oh,
off.
man, it's gonna be amazing. And so the trick is you go into the massage parlor and what you do is
You
you
like
you take their weed or heroin and you just grab it with your hands and you threaten to destroy it unless they give you money
And jerk you off.
or jerk you up. So he would just do this, and they would just do this and make a bunch of money. But then in '74, he's 20 years old, and he gets arrested for robbing one of these massage parlors. He gets 3 years in Pentridge Prison, and for the from 1974 to '92, he'd only spent 18 months out of prison.
Wow.
But according to his LinkedIn, his experience,
Again, the LinkedIn.
1974 to 1992, Pentridge Prison, inmate. Launched a description of job. Launched a prison war with my gang, the Overcoat Gang. Was involved in several hundred acts of violence against a larger opposing gang during this period.
Responsible for
11-day prison ride from solitary.
Answer 2. No one.
For references.
Yeah. They're all dead,
I'm not an inmate. I'm your mate.
mate.
So he starts the Overcoat Gang. The Overcoat Gang is named for the large prison-issue overcoats they wear.
Oh, yeah, so everybody in the prison is in the overcoat gang?
Well, apparently they're the only ones wearing the overcoat. I don't know what it is. It's a really good idea because the coats are long.
We're the orange jumpsuit gang.
Exactly.
What?
Is that all? Me?
Oh,
Am I
you
in
mean
that?
all? Cool.
Now, so the coats are long, so you can hide weapons. They're also thick, so you can't get shivved that easily.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
interesting
Great prison wear.
thing about the overcoats, the prison put some thought into this, and all of the overcoats have a distinctive colored patch over the heart on the chest and back. So if there's ever a riot, the guards can shoot to kill.
Oh, for the love of God.
A handy dandy target right
Yeah,
there on the
yeah.
uniform.
Yeah. Jesus Christ almighty.
Now, the longest war that the gang fought was started after another prisoner, a man named John Palmer, accused Chopper of eating all of the sausages for the Christmas lunch.
Those are the sausages.
Everybody was given, everybody gets a couple sausages for Christmas, and
Yeah.
they were like, they're all gone, and he accused Chopper, and Chopper said, well, there's 80 of them, I couldn't eat all of them.
Yeah. What am I, Cool Hand Luke?
So Chopper denied it, and he just beat the shit out of the guy, and then...
That's a dirty lie!
Yeah.
You dirty fucker!
You dirty bastard. What a fucking rotter.
And so this war would go on for 5 years, even after he left.
The 5 year sausage
over
war.
the sausages.
Yes, it was known as the Sausage War.
Yes.
And
Yes.
and this is from the Sydney Morning Herald. This is this is from like 2003, 2005, and they were writing about this, and they wrote, John Palmer is still alive and last known to be driving a forklift on the Melbourne docks. He has given up crime. It is unknown if he still eats sausages.
That's great. Yeah.
well done.
One of fucking Murdoch's papers, definitely.
He just can't bear it. He just has this block.
war.
Yeah.
The war.
Yeah. None of them taste as good. Tastes like shit. Tastes like an ass whooping.
Tastes like a pack of cigarettes and Ouzo.
Over the course of his this time in prison, he would face 63 attacks and 11 attempted murders. But he also became friends with the warden.
Is that right?
And so every day he would meet with the warden and he would drink a beer or something. The warden would, and at night he said that he could get into any cell he wanted. And one of his tactics was.
What does that mean, Aaron? What are you doing with your hand there?
This right here. This
what are you doing?
Fucking plowing whoever he wants.
Oh yeah, dude.
You get into any cell you want.
Hot dudes.
I think look under his LinkedIn if it was like daily routine rape on whoever I want.
It wasn't. No.
Yeah,
sorry.
no.
It's not there.
No, sorry.
Try Boys Club.
One of his tactics is they would, if the guy was given problems and they wanted to interrogate or beat him up, he would hold a knife to the guy's neck, and then they would put a razor blade in his mouth, and they would say, either you chew the razor blade or I stab you in the neck.
God damn it!
But how do I tell you the truth?
Oh, no, at that point, they're just,
it's just
fucking a guy up at that point. Maybe it wasn't interrogation so much, it's just a beating.
That's hard. Hard times.
That is not a good one.
I don't like it.
I don't like it at all.
I'll take the cigarettes and Ouzo.
Yeah. I'd rather have sex with like a bunch of girls or something.
Yeah, on a personal level, I'd rather have sex with beautiful women. Call me crazy.
Call me crazy. I don't want to hang out with a bunch of dudes making me chew up no motherfucking razor blade
I like to
or
chew up some ass.
I'll chew up a whole butthole. I don't care if it's calamari.
I call it Mary, I'll call it Linda.
I don't care if it's calamari or a fucking pig's butthole. I don't give one fuck. Ask me if I give a fuck.
Any conceivable animal you wish.
Any consenting animal. I don't care if you're an octopod or a fucking pig. I'll eat your butthole.
As long as it is sans razor blades.
Yeah. I don't care. But anyway.
But anyway, back to the chewing of the razor blades.
Right, so this is...
That's one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life.
I don't like it at all.
That was very...
Which is better? Is that... Because 22 in the legs... Much easier choice.
Oh, 22. Out of all of the things I've heard, 22 in the legs is the best
Stabbing
one.
in the neck.
Or chewing a razor.
I'm taking the neck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, take it. Yeah, because you'll bleed out pretty quick. Chewing the razor blade is not...
Nick?
The neck feels like definite death.
Right.
Yeah, but do you want to?
Do you want to go on with your mangled ass mouth? You know what I mean? You got some baked beans in there. And you're like,
you could never try.
Oh man, the beans are in my gums.
You could never have a delicious meal of Ouzo, sausages, and cigarettes again.
I can't even. I got the filter in my gums.
Take me now.
Oh yeah, that passage must have been rough.
Yikes!
I don't like it.
No.
What a catastrophe, man.
A disaster.
So in 1977, his 3 years are up. He gets out of Pentridge Prison. He applies to join the Rhodesian Security Forces.
Jesus. Rhodesia.
And he's accepted, but his parole officer doesn't let him go.
Flat feet.
Yeah. No, well.
Yeah, also he's a
break his parole, yeah. And he writes, he said, had I been allowed to leave, the Victorian government would have saved a fortune in jail, courts, police, and legal costs.
Yeah.
Because he probably would have died or something. It would have been...
Would have been KIA.
So now he's out of jail for about 5 months, and he manages to shoot 5 guys.
The burgers?
And one of them was his friend Johnny Coral. And he shot him he shot him right in the leg. And he writes, I've always felt guilty over Johnny's gimpy leg. It happened because he was getting a bit nippy and got me on the wrong day.
And I was out of cigarettes.
But if Johnny's reading this remembers back, he must admit I did have the barrel at his head. Why he got loudmouth with a man carrying a shotgun is beyond me.
Yeah.
So he shot
that's what I was going to say, is the thing about Chopper is, like, he talks about don't, seek mercy from, but he actually shows mercy.
Right. Yes.
With instances like this, he's like, there's a lot of people that survive Chopper for all the heinous violence that he perpetrates. There's a lot of people that live to tell the tale of dealing with him, which is also, I guess, how the legend grows more.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a very. I mean, also, I don't know if it's necessarily Seventh-day Adventist, but it is a very puritanical view of God. Is you are not worthy of God's forgiveness, but He gives it to you anyways.
Yeah.
So don't seek mercy from the merciless. But hey, maybe you'll get it.
And he does touch on that. He has, because of that, he always believed in God and felt like he was able to survive. Because it didn't make any sense. He was like, it must have been God, because it doesn't make any sense.
It's amazing how that stuff survives, and the people that religious stuff abuses so bad, like they still, like it still gets in there.
You get them early enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Try boys.
Try it out.
Also, during this time when he's out, he wants to extort a gangster in this nightclub. So he goes into the nightclub with Gelignite strapped to his chest.
Yeah.
And
explosive.
With a lit. He's also smoking a lit cigar. He's smoking a cigar at the time.
While he's got the bomb on his chest.
Yeah.
Good.
And
Perfect.
he threatens to blow the place up unless he gets his money. The gangster, the supposedly the man he called a plastic gangster, ran out of the building through the bathroom window.
Shit myself.
Also, in 77, after he gets out, he gets kind of careless, and one day he's walking down the street, and as he's walking down the street, this guy gets out of his car and starts looking at a map, and the guy calls him over and says, "Hey, can you look at this map and tell me where I am?" And as he's helping the guy with directions, he sees a gun under the map. The guy pulls the gun on him, puts it to his throat, has him get in the boot of the car, and he drives him to
the trunk for you Americans.
He drives him to an abandoned field. He makes Chopper get out of the car and dig his own grave.
Ooh, good fellas, baby.
And he
Love
says
that.
he digs like a Welsh coal miner.
He digs like a Welshman. Look at him.
And he says as he's doing this, he's joking with the guy, he's laughing. Because he said the first mistake this guy...
I've had a hell of a life, dude.
This is easily the best part of my decade.
I'm 23 and it's been long. Yeah.
How deep you want me to go, champ?
Keep digging.
But he says that the first mistake this guy made was not killing him.
Of course.
Yes.
This is Chopper.
He says, I've never made a guy dig a grave. I kill him and dig the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I don't.
Kill him first, and
Just
then
fling him off a roof.
Yeah. So he says the first mistake he made was not killing him. And so he already made one mistake, and he knew there was going to be another mistake. So he's digging, and he has the shovel, and he's waiting, and he's joking with the guy.
he's got a shovel.
And in a flash, he takes the shovel, bashes the guy's knee in. The guy shoots and misses, and he figured he's going to shoot me anyway, so I might as well have him shoot when he's off balance.
Yeah.
Probably not going to shoot straight with a bashed-in knee. And he says, "In the next second I was out of the grave. That's when he screamed no. For him it was too late. The spade was in his brain.
Oh!
Let's say for me it was a bit of a character builder.
Oh,
How
yeah?
can the police, the prisons, the screws, courts, judges, or criminal world frighten anyone who has stood in his own grave and lived?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
It's like, man, I thought I was going to be murdered. I ended up being a murderer. You know what I'm saying?
And then he buried...
I rose from my grave like a phoenix, or Jesus Christ himself.
You ever get like flipped out like that where you're about to murder a motherfucker, but then that motherfucker saves your ass? Like, because you fell off a roof or some shit while you were aiming for that dumb motherfucker's head?
Isn't that crazy how
Isn't
the world
that
works?
weird? And then I was the victim.
And
And then I was saved by my intended victim. And then another motherfucker was going to kill me. But then I killed that motherfucker with a spade in his brains, man.
And then he buried the guy in the grave that he had dug for himself.
Yes! Yes! Well, you're not going to let it go to waste.
It's your grave now.
Yeah.
And then he drove. Then he stole the guy's car.
dig my own.
Yeah, dig my own grave.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
part of my plan. I don't
And
dig your grave.
And I'm going to
Son of
take
a
this
bitch.
Pinto, too.
Exactly. And he said, while he was riding in the boot, Dean Martin said, "Everybody Loves You" by Dean Martin was playing.
Oh, my God.
Turn it up.
And so he says every time he hears that song, he has a certain weird affection, tortured affection for it. Because it was also like his death, but also it wasn't his.
It's also my rebirth.
I assume he probably played it on the way back, too, when he was driving it away.
Yeah, man.
Called in on the radio.
Nobody till
requested it.
somebody loves you.
Driving away in your murderer's car
Staring at the world through your rear view. Like,
that you were in the boot of
how
on
the
the way
tables
there.
have
Yeah.
turned. How
Yeah.
could you not believe in God at that point?
Yeah.
Or have a God complex?
It's crazy, man. And so, but also, right before he left jail, he made a deal with his friend, this guy named Jimmy Longy, and he said, "You're in jail, so I'm gonna break you out of jail. I promise you, I'll break you out of jail."
Promise.
And so, on Australia Day in 1978, he goes into court with a sawed-off shotgun down his pants.
Uh-huh.
And they let him. He asked the police officer. He says, "Where's the court? Where do I go?" And he points him to one. He goes into the court and he walks in, pulls the gun out, points it at the judge's face, Jesus, and says he wants to get his friend Jimmy Lohman out of jail. And the judge, very calmly, the judge who said later, I met you 3 months ago at a like a sporting event or something. Because later he writes to the judge, and the judge writes back, and he's like, "Hey, I hope you're well. No hard feelings."
He's Australian.
I'm telling you, man.
So the judge starts walking out, and so Chopper's following him with a gun. This man, I think he might have been a bailiff, I'm not sure, a man named Ernie Trotter, jumps out, grabs the gun, wrestles with Chopper, pins him on the ground, holds him until cops show up, and he's sent to prison for 13 years.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Is that in his LinkedIn profile too? Got my ass whooped by a bailiff in the court of law.
How about the judge just walking out all sleek?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's
I just
all
gotta
right.
go into my office.
His LinkedIn is
Ernie!
his LinkedIn is still inmate because he's only out for 5 months, so it's not like and not much change with his employment history.
Yeah. You don't want to get too detailed.
Yeah.
You can leave things out.
Oh, trying to get hired here.
Yeah, hello.
So he's back in prison now. He's back at Pentridge, and he's in this part of the prison called Division H, and he doesn't want to be in Division H, and so he goes to the classification board and he says he wants like, "Hey, can I go somewhere else?"
Yeah,
And
join
they say,
division.
"We don't want you with the general population because you're gonna cause problems with the general You're there, your gang's there. We don't want you anywhere else."
Any social personality.
You're the chop.
Yeah. So he before he leaves, he tells him, "I'm going to be out of Division H tomorrow." That night,
Yikes.
he goes to his friend Kevin and he says, "Hey, can you cut my ears off?"
Oh God.
Because
Can I?
well, his own reasoning is
a privilege. My most greatest contribution, yes. Is to get you out of Division H by taking off your ears.
Can I keep them, sir? May I keep them in my May I keep them in my?
You wouldn't
in my
mind if I
luggage,
had
sir?
chewed on one of these Chopper.
I don't need request if I could just have one of your earlobes, sir. I wouldn't be so presumptuous as to ask for both of your ears, sir. If I were to oblige you in cutting off your ears, I'd only ask for one, please, sir.
If I can make a stew out of the cartilage of your ears,
And I'd
Chopper.
make it a cauliflower.
The cauliflower. Can I box your ears before I chop them?
Please, sir. So he asks if he can cut his ears off.
right.
And
well,
what does he say?
his reasoning is, if a man tries to cut his own ears off, he will make a pig's breakfast of the job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
logical.
Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you.
So his friend Kevin, well, that will come up again. His friend Kevin follows him to the shower where Chopper sits down in the shower, crosses his arm, and then Kevin starts cutting. And this is from Chopper. He started to do it really gently and slow, but that was very painful. I said, "Come on, you bloody fairy, rip into it." And so he did.
Oh, dear.
I remember the sound. It was like running your fingernails down a blackboard, only it was going through my head.
Oh my God.
Dude.
Then I felt the warm blood bubbling in my ears.
Ah, lovely.
I thought Van Gogh had done it, so it couldn't be life-threatening. And then he's slowly, it's passing out. They take him to the hospital. He's
That guy was a
imagining,
fruity artist.
he's imagining his dead cowboy and other dead friends are pulling the gurney. And he's like, "Are you guys going to do surgery?" And they're like,
you
"You're
were
going to be
there
great."
too. And you
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And then, so later, all kinds of prisoners in Pentridge started cutting off their ears.
Hell yeah, fuck them things.
And so he said, it was called, he was the president of the Van Gogh Club. And then one guy cut his penis off.
What about that? No.
And
Y'all
so-
ready for this?
And so Chopper said, "I'm done," because he said, when the dicky birds start hitting the pavement, I thought it was time to resign.
Oh, for the love of Christ. Hey, I'll tell you one thing I'm not going to put on my necklace is your hog.
See, if you cut your ears off, they can't hold it when they're fucking your face. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, and if you cut your dick off, they can't suck it, right?
What? Are they forcing you to suck your dick? Just hold still. I'm
trying to make a point.
I'm trying to make you come, you fucked up.
So a lot of people thought that he got his nickname from chopping off his ears. Other people thought he got his nickname because one of his tags, along with burning the feet, is he would take bolt cutters to a toe. Because you can ransom somebody who's just missing a toe.
I've heard that in
Big
the
Lebowski,
documentary, The Big Lebowski.
His girlfriend cut off her toe.
Get your toe.
I'll get you.
With or without nail polish.
With nail polish.
So at 79, he's not 25. Him and his
This is all before 25.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, he's busy.
Coming into his prime.
Yeah, he's busy. So 79, him and the Overcoat gang, they Jimmy Longman among them, they hatch a plan to take over all of Division H. Basically, they're going to beat up or dismantle or hurt every single person who's not part of the gang.
We're running the program now.
All you deaf motherfuckers, gonna listen up.
And the no dicks too.
Now apparently,
All you dickless deaf motherfuckers are gonna shape up or ship out.
Whop 'em.
you can still hear without ears.
I know, but
Okay.
don't like this.
It just makes it hard to put to wear headphones or put ear
or bring mouth race. See?
Man, I can't hear a motherfucking thing with all the warm blood jutting into my brain, man. Because I cut my fucking ear off like a psycho,
It
man.
really makes getting your mouth raped easier when you can't hear the screams of pleasure from your rapist.
I wish I cut my dick off, man. Everybody trying to suck the motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? And I still got these balls for no reason.
I just find them getting in the way.
Yeah, I just find it so difficult. I sit on them and all types of
no
shit.
dick but two balls. That is
That's April Fools.
You won't last 5 minutes playing this game.
Oh man, you gonna come in less than 5 minutes. I'll give you till 4:26, motherfucker.
Man, when you see my dickless ball sack and my earless skull, you gonna nut.
You'd be like, how do I hold this motherfucker's head to my crotch without no motherfucking ears on it? I'm trying to suck his dick. He doesn't have one. He's got
He's
got these big, delicious balls, man. Doctors hate this motherfucker. They can't stand him. He can't hold the ears, so we pull his mouth all over your Johnson, and then you can't suck his dick because he cut the motherfucker off.
Isn't that a bitch?
Doctors hate this motherfucker.
Doctors hate this motherfucker.
Doctors absolutely despise this motherfucker.
This is one simple trick to taking over Division H. This is one simple trick. Don't you know it?
So, the Overcoat gang has this plan to take over Division H. Apparently, Jimmy and another guy think it's a little too crazy. So, they turn on Chopper, they stab him in the neck with an ice pick.
No!
Yeah. The guy, they cut him, then they cut his stomach open,
What?
and they leave his guts hanging out on the floor.
And he can't wait to clean it up.
Yeah.
This is a mess.
The guy he went back to jail for.
To say I'm going to break you out.
Yeah.
Is the guy who fucking gutted him?
Yeah.
Oh, that is poetic justice.
Yeah, and he says he never trust anyone after that.
Hey, Joe,
Wait.
you ever fuck with Game of
He
Thrones?
survived?
He lives.
Jesus!
But
Of course he lives. It's
'Cause
Chop
he's
Chop
God.
we're talking
Jesus
about.
Christ.
He
that's
lives.
right.
He loses part of his spleen, most of his gallbladder, many feet of stomach tubing,
Oh, he lost his feet.
Yeah.
He was undefeated.
They're all flat.
many feet of his bowel, part of his colon. The next day, he gets out of his hospital bed to prove that he didn't quote unquote get got. He does 30 push-ups and then splits all of his stitches.
Oh my God. This is why you got to beat your kids sometimes.
Right.
Not to this extent.
On the 7th day.
Yeah, on the 7th day you let them rest. And let your knuckles heal.
Yeah.
That's some pretty Batman level shit, you know? Like,
No,
I
that's
got
completely
fucking stats.
insane,
I gotta
yeah.
do some push-ups to show these people I'm not a pussy.
No, yeah, it's a legacy of unending trauma.
Yes.
Yeah, for all involved. Yeah.
The ears, the penises, all
Yeah.
gone.
Oh, yeah. No, it's but maybe the exact reason why you should never hit a child.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
I got that
right.
wrong.
Yeah,
The exact opposite.
That,
is
no,
the
that's
shit you
exactly right.
said.
I had it all transposed.
So, 1986, he's 32. He's released from prison. While he's in prison, though, during this time, he sees all these Australian drug lords become very, very rich men. And so when he gets out,
Quite.
he's like, well, I'm just going to rob these guys.
Fuck yeah, go get him.
Love robbing drug dealers.
And
best.
so he's pretty good at it, and he's so good at that they put contracts on his head. One of them is worth $50,000.
God damn it.
And so,
And that's without ears.
Or guts.
and so he actually calls the police and says, "I'm available to be an informer while I'm ripping these guys off."
Yeah.
And so they accept it, and he becomes like an informer while he's robbing all of these guys. And in turn, they tell him anytime they hear of any word that someone's coming to kill him.
Yeah.
And so one night he asked the cops to fit him with a bulletproof vest, and they do. And then that night, he kills a drug dealer, and he goes back and he tells the cops, "Hey, I killed this drug dealer," and they think he's joking.
This earless motherfucker says he killed a drug dealer.
Yeah, good one, Jeff.
No ears, motherfucker.
Would you rob his gallbladder?
Now he's later charged with the murder, but he claims self-defense and he's acquitted. And this is his story of the what's happening. So he meets this guy called the Turk, and he meets him at this bar, and he's gonna sell this guy. This guy's gonna sell him drugs. And Turk says, "All right, I'll sell you drugs if you come out into the parking lot with me." And this bar had 2 parking lots, and in one parking lot, all of these guys were waiting to ambush him. But the Turk, being an idiot,
Went
took
to
him
the
to the
other
wrong
parking
lot.
Australia's a big country. They
Yeah.
have 2 parking lots.
Yeah. He's like, hold on, the drugs will be here in a minute.
And so the Turk goes, "Do you have any guns?" And Chopper showed up with a .32 in the front of his pants and a .410 shotgun in the back. I don't know how you sit down with all
A
those.
vest of grenades.
And we also had a bulletproof vest. And so he lifts up his shirt. He shows the Turk the .32. The Turk takes it out of his pants and points it at, and puts it to his head. And this is what Chopper writes: "He wanted to blow my head right off. He thinks I'm a dickhead. The gun was an automatic. No one just picks up an automatic and fires it. You have to cock it. He's got a gun at my head going click, click. The cheeky bastard had my gun at my head going click, click, click. So I pulled the shotty out and gone bang, and it's bye-bye Turk." And in this book he claims 100% self-defense.
Yeah.
He was, however, later convicted of burning down a drug dealer's house and firing shots into the drug dealer's mother's house. He was out of jail for 7 months. And then he's sent to 5 more years.
Well, also, who raised this dude? You know what I mean? Like, let's start going after the mothers.
Yeah, that's why I had to bring up that shit.
Yeah.
And the father.
Also, like,
Yeah.
come on, let's not act like your mom's innocent here.
Yeah, not
She probably beat you every day except Sunday.
Or ordered your dad to do it.
Yeah.
And when God wouldn't kill her.
He's like, I know I'm an asshole. He's like, imagine your mom.
Hey, I'm doing you a favor, bub.
So he's back in for 5 more years. In 1991, the year before he gets out, he publishes his first book called Chopper from the Inside. That's where I got all these quotes. 1992, he's out of prison. And then we get to, according to his LinkedIn, he is a shooter, self-employed.
Oh, my God.
Less than a year, Tasmania. And his job detail was shot Sidney Michael Edward Collins in the chest.
Jesus Christ.
And who was he?
Sidney Michael Edward Collins was a guy that he hung out with every now and then, and he shot him in the chest because he was quote-unquote thinking too much.
Very good.
Yeah.
While
He's probably reconsidering his friend group.
Yeah.
While Collins is in the hospital, he's interrogated by the police. He gives up Chopper, and he goes back to jail for 6 more years.
God damn it.
So the next LinkedIn experience is inmate, various incarnation facilities, 1992 to 1998. While he's in prison there, he also gets Hep C.
Oh.
From using razor blades, probably.
Yeah, or tribal.
Eating them.
More, yeah. Also, 92, he publishes his second book, Chopper 2, Hits and Memories.
Hits and Memories.
93, he
That's
publishes,
so funny.
influenced by Dale Carnegie, he publishes his next book, Chopper 3, How to Shoot Friends and Influence People.
It's so true.
Yeah.
It's so true. He shoots his friends all the time.
And he influences people.
And he influences people.
Yeah, he got a whole fucking cell block to cut off their ears and one guy his dick. Read that guy's book.
Yeah. The
Warden
dick guy.
Warden hate this
The
guy.
dick guy. Trends that don't take off.
When to say when.
Escalation. It doesn't work.
Take this dick and shove it.
Still got my balls, though. Who's laughing now?
How to get to yes.
Steal this
Or
dick.
getting to yes. Steal this dick.
Use it for your own purposes. Do whatever you want with it. I'm not using the motherfucker no more.
96, 97, 98, 99, he publishes a book a year. And he sells all of his writings over the course of his career. He would sell over 500,000 copies.
Yeah.
They're not like beautifully written, but they're interesting. It's
No,
like,
it's-
like
yeah,
reading that
it-
book Monster, where this guy's talking about being a crip or
It's a car. It's a car crash. You can't
Yeah.
look away.
Yeah.
You know it doesn't need to lean on style.
Right.
It's just like,
the
can-
raw content is enough.
Can you believe I did this?
He's
you know?
moralizing.
And so
he's
that money
explaining.
went to restitution fund. I mean, I'm sure Australia has similar laws to the U.S. where you cannot profit off of your own crimes.
Ooh, I don't know. Nothing was mentioned off of that.
No, I think he actually kind of did retire off book money.
No way.
Yeah.
What does his LinkedIn say? Retired author and psychopath.
Well, in 98, he's out and he's pretty quiet. He does some interviews. In one of his interviews, he plays Russian roulette on film and then with the reporter. But he always talked about how he
Your turn.
he would play. He said he never lost Russian roulette, which makes me think there's
everyone's
like
never lost Russian roulette until you lose it.
I mean, to do it so cavalier and to do it with a reporter, and he doesn't seem like the type of guy who would kill a reporter for no reason.
Nah.
I'm guessing there was some
Tomfoolery.
trickery involved.
Yeah, or he'd fucking probably just aim for the reporter's legs or something.
No. He aimed at her head. There's a
Really?
there's a video of it.
Oh, it was a woman too.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Yeah.
Equality, bro. They've been way more equal than us.
Oh
for
yeah,
a
I'm
while.
sure she signed up for that.
She was, in the interview later, she was pretty cool about it.
We play that game.
But, then 2000, Eric Bana starts as him in Chopper.
Yeah.
2001, his LinkedIn profile says, Pedestrian Council of Australia, actor, featured in an advertising campaign warning people about the dangers of drink driving. His drink driving ad wins the gold at Cannes.
Jesus, really?
Oh well, we gotta have that on the next meeting.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what the fuck is going on there?
Hi, I'm Chopper.
He's like, if you
you're
drive
watching
drunk,
this-
I'll shoot you in the leg. And I mean it. One time I told the cops I killed a drug dealer and they thought I was joking. I'm not joking. If you drive drunk, I personally will shoot you in the leg
Twice.
and you'll be famous. Great ad campaign.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Or my name isn't Chopper.
Chopper.
Also in 2001, Sidney Michael Edward Collins goes missing.
Is that right?
No.
Is that because of
God.
Dave the Jew?
No, I don't know.
It's because he had too many names.
Yeah. 2001, Chopper also has his first son, born by cesarean section, which he must have
Chopped her up.
must have recognized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said,
I know something about splitting guts open.
and he says, quote, "Fatherhood changed me.
Oh,
I reckon I became a human being at 45.
Mm.
That's the moment I joined the human race."
Wow.
2002, he publishes a children's book.
Ah.
what?
It's called Hooky the Cripple. The grim tale of a hunchback who tries. Wait, what did you say, Nick?
Who published that?
Hooky the Cripple.
Someone.
Everybody chops.
Hooky the Cripple. The grim tale of a hunchback who triumphs.
Ah.
It's the story of a cripple who is so enraged with being bullied by a butcher that he stabs him 21 times in the head.
Oh yeah, it's a real bedtimer.
Yeah.
You know,
Good night.
how many crippled kids have, a story for them?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Enough.
Well, yeah.
Fair.
But
That
do
don't
they
involve
have
murder?
enough, do they have enough violent fantasies because of their disadvantage? Not on my watch.
Listen, kid. If you're disadvantaged from birth, the only way to achieve any sort of retribution is stab that motherfucker in the head 21
Yeah.
times.
You gotta explode violently.
In a ferocious fashion.
You gotta explode violently back on his
Wow,
butt.
caged
They never
animal.
suspect you. You ain't got no arms, legs,
You
none of that
hunchback,
shit.
you bent
You
over,
just gotta
can't-
thump them with that stump, motherfucker.
You gotta turn your weakness into a strength.
You gotta stick like a shiv in your taint, man, and just dive on it.
People think that my speech impediment is a weakness, but actually I'm quite loquacious and eloquent.
Yeah, I got a fucking thesaurus at my fingertips.
My
all the time.
lexicon is
Yeah,
unrivaled.
fuck my vocabulary.
my diction is unmatched.
Untouchable.
My loquaciousness is ferocious.
I broke my back.
Spine.
So then 2002 publishes that book. 2005, according to his LinkedIn, he's a speaker.
Oh
on
yeah.
the I'm Innocent tour.
Is that right? Never mind my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I'm innocent.
All praise to Allah.
What do you praise be to Allah? I want to eat your children.
He tours with Mark Jacko Jackson. 2006, he has a second son, and he says, "With this, I became a fully paid up member of the human race."
Again.
And he says, "I have no regrets, but those moments when his sons were born told me what I should have been, a good human being."
Ah. Yeah.
2008, LinkedIn. Retired. Self-employed. Health issues have forced me to retire indefinitely.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No ears.
Most of my guts are missing, man. I don't know what the fuck the motherfucker's ass. Probably with that dude's dick or something. I don't know.
I think I left him in that grave.
Well, he says in 2008 he only has 2 to 5 years left to live because of the Hep C.
Ah, well, but hasn't he seen the bench billboards that say there's a cure for Hep C? Hello.
Yeah, it's called High C. Ecto Cooler, motherfucker.
No.
Different than high V.
So in order to not die from Hep C, he needs a liver transplant, but he refuses to get one. And he says his reasoning is, a transplant would save me, but why would anybody give 53-year-old Chopper Reid a liver over
Because he
and
didn't
above,
execute you.
over and above 11-year-old girl with liver cancer? They wouldn't, and I wouldn't ask. I need a transplant, but I don't want one. So,
Hey.
2013.
But also, I mean, really, the thing that they kind of go into in the movie, and you haven't seen the movie, I assume.
Right.
They really go into Chopper would be a guy that would shoot his friend, and then he'd be like, I'm sorry, mate. And then he would drive you to the hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
There's multiple stories about him
Yeah.
showing mercy, and there is all these people that live to tell the legend of Chopper. But, I mean, that's why I would think you kind of deserve a liver transplant, bro.
No.
Because, like,
No.
no?
No. I think
He's got enough free passes.
he does
digging himself out of a grave, guts spilled everywhere, ears cut off, shot, stabbed, chewing on.
right.
If he doesn't want the liver transplant,
Sure, no, totally. But I'm just saying there's been a lot of
psychopath narcissist.
there's been a lot
would
of
think-
mercy,
yeah.
too. You know what I mean? So,
I get it, but like he says, like, give it to the kid dying of cancer.
Yeah, but
instead.
Right, no, 100%. But there
is
is.
it really mercy if I kneecap you and then drive you to the hospital? What if I never kneecapped you?
But you know what the thing is that a lot of those guys that get kneecapped by the IRA and stuff then join the IRA. Like, there's this weird thing where it's like
abusee.
it's a Stockholm syndrome type thing where.
I deserved it.
And that would happen with Chopper's friends, where they would be like, I'm ironically closer to him because of the way he fucking maimed me.
Yeah.
Well, he says in that 91 book, he's like, Johnny, if you're reading this, I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I do feel guilt about it.
And he
But
means it.
He does. But it's also like, it You can only do so much. I think he
Sure.
recognizes, and at the time he was painting, and
Is that right?
and well, they said he was told that if he dies, his paintings might get $10,000 to $20,000, and he's like, I'm just trying to make as much money for my kids.
$10,000 to $20.
$20,000.
Oh, okay. I was like,
But he's like, at this point, I'm just trying to make as much money for my kids so they
Sure,
have something when I die.
Just like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
two boys,
That last fight.
two strong boys.
So October 9th,
Tribals.
October 9th, 2013, he dies of liver cancer. And then October 20th, 2013, 60 Minutes in Australia airs an interview with him in which he admits to killing Sidney Michael Edward Collins,
Is that right?
claiming that he was stupid for being shot by him twice. Now, why was he hanging out with him after being shot by him once?
You should have learned.
For what again? Being annoying or something?
Well, he shot
Thinking
him the
too
first
much.
time for thinking too much.
And the second time for not thinking enough.
Right. I mean, really, he shot him the second time for telling the cops that he did it.
Yeah.
But he was like, "What? He should never have been hanging out with me in
In the second
the
place.
second place."
Yeah, it's a real scorpion frog scenario.
Yeah.
Very good.
Motherfucker, I'm Chopper, man. You know I'm crazy,
You know
man.
I'm gonna chop you
You
up.
know I'm gonna shoot you, man. I got motherfucker cutting the dicks
It's right there in the name, idiot.
Chopping their dicks off.
So much like
Ears, dicks, whatever's.
I'm gonna. According to his LinkedIn, here are his other skills:
Yes.
torture, prison warfare,
Torture.
inflicting pain,
Pain and fiction.
serving time, rapping for some reason, organized crime, shooting, crime, and killing. And his description of
And XL.
his description of what he wanted to do was Chopper Reid, helping people harden the fuck up.
He's not wrong. Not in the least.
Harden the fuck up, mate. Harden the fuck up.
I really feel like I'm helping people harden the fuck up.
The problem with you is that you stuff you too many ears.
Yeah.
Let me chop them fucking ears off. You're not so
And
soft.
that's the thing about letting people live, is that then they can harden up.
That's right. That's
You
the
know?
only way.
Yeah.
If they're dead, they go soft and stiff, but not
Yeah.
hard.
Right. Yeah. But meanwhile, if you chewed a couple of razor blades up, you're probably like, man, I've had worse times than the DMV.
Pretty rough. Pretty great.
Yeah.
Matt, that's pretty fantastic shit.
The LinkedIn. It,
Oh,
when
when
I,
I-
when I,
when
when
I-
I,
when I found
it
that.
really ties the room together.
It's
It
always
does.
the marquee to sign
I
on
know.
LinkedIn.
Oh my god. And yeah, he put it together. It's really something.
Yeah.
That's
but yeah,
wonderful.
I only knew the movie, and I knew he was like a very famous hardened criminal.
Gangsta.
Um,
He's the Australian Bronson.
yes. But
yes,
Chopper,
yes,
Chopper
yes.
came out first, and then later on Bronson came out. But like Chopper was the first like biographical prisoner, a guy that wrote books from prison
And painted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think his a lot of his later years with the kids and stuff like that, I think he kind of went out to the outback and stuff. He was like very much
Sure, yeah.
had to be away from civilization
Yeah.
to like not get into fucking trouble.
Yeah.
Because he knew I'm a psycho. I'm
I'm
dangerous.
Chopper.
Yeah, I
Hello.
shouldn't be around people.
Yeah, there's a certain Panzram type quality that
Yeah. What do you want?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
want? I'm the Chopper.
Right, but it does also have this weird thing of being like, I am resisting going full evil, whereas Panzram is very much going full bore into it. Like,
Yes,
there's that thing of like,
but there is
you
that
know,
moment in Panzerm's life where he's like, "Don't turn your back on me."
yeah,
And he doesn't kill
the
the guy.
desire for the most abused to see good in the world is very strong.
Yes,
They
I think
want-
that
they
is part
want
of the
this-
human condition.
yeah,
and
yeah.
a lot of the time, I think
demand
with
hope.
evil, it is why aren't you and us and me? Why aren't we better? And I'm so mad at us
Yeah.
for not being better that I'm
Right.
willing to commit evil
Yeah,
because I hold in this weird perverted way.
yeah,
We should be better
yes.
than
yes.
I am.
I told you my dad was very, very commonly beaten by the teachers in Ireland and both parents.
Mhm.
And I was like a couple of spankings growing up,
Yeah.
very, very light, whatever, you know. But my dad was like, he's like, I just remember being a kid and being like, what's with all the hitting?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, this is ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I was like, that'd be most people just fall into that trap and keep it going.
Oh, through the great arc of history, that was the case.
Yeah, it really takes, like a sound mind to be like,
Hey,
oh, all right, well, what next?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here? You know?
use your words.
Yeah, and I was always like very grateful for that because I was like, that's kind, you know.
The
You're
buck
like,
stops here.
yeah, I took it so you don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, he paints an oddly, strangely sympathetic figure. You know, between hating bullies and he talks about. He said like, you know, he talks about some gangster. You know, one of the guys he knew in jail committed this this famous Australian massacre where he got out of the military, didn't have any work, so he was just driving up and down the street one night just shooting people.
Yeah.
And he killed like 7 people. And he meeting this guy in jail, and he's like, I never killed any innocent people. And
No,
I don't even consider it murder because I killed people who had it coming.
Right.
Right, or
Which is like, okay, not a great idea.
That
but,
thing of, you know, it's very like in The Wire where they say I never put my gun on a civilian.
Right.
It's like if you're in the game, you're in the game, and that seemed to be very what Chopper was doing. Is like you're hanging out in scumbag bars, doing scumbag drug business, crime, whatever, etc. You know what the risks are. Yeah. But yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I really, really love that profile.
Wonderful profile.
Thanks, Tom Gallen.
Yeah, thank you, Tom Gallen.
Tom Gallen.
And both of you really should see the movie. It's incredible, right, Nick?
It's fantastic.
I remember when it came out. I just never saw it. Love Eric Bana.
Very
Love
worth your time.
Love those kind of movies. So maybe we'll give it a watch.
It's iconic.
I give it a watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of great. There's someone was like, there's some Facebook group was like, what's your favorite Chopper quotes? And they're all from the movie. There's so many good lines in the movie. I didn't use any of them because he didn't actually. I don't think he actually said all of those things.
Oh, right, yeah.
I came here to kick ass and chew cigarettes. And I'm all out of cigarettes.
I'm all out of Ouzo.
And ears.
I'm all out of ears. I came here to listen. I'm all out of ears.
I came here to shoot legs and chew that guy's dick that he cut off because of my ears.
Huh?
What'd you say, dude?
I'm Chopper.
I'm Chopper. Understand me. All right, I'm going to call it there.
Let's call it there.
I love you. My name is John Fahey. Good night, everybody.
I love you too. I'm Aaron Pita.
Matt Brousseau.
Arrivederci.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
So when will it be out?
Well, when it's going to be out is in the year 2000.
Oh, don't give me the date.
I'm serious.
What, you and me are sitting here surrounded by jokes for a movie that's going to be out in the year 2000? You are kidding me. You are kidding me. The year 2000?
Year 2000.
The year 2000? Can you believe that? You've agreed to do a movie that's going to come out in the year 2000?
It'll be a good year, Mark.
You fucking well want to be. For Australian film. Funny.
But it's not unusual, Mark. You know, a film like Shine, that's 8 years. 8 years in development and shooting.
Shine. Yeah.
Just been there.
Honestly, I'm not being critical or anything, but honestly, once you get the funding, I would rock and roll with great haste.